traditional-looking Nihilist that tops out with Aurelia, the War Leader, but also has 4, count them 4, Thundermaw Hellkites.
Yeah, this looks very much like the deck from Cincinnati earlier this year. It's not exactly the Cincinnati winning deck, but it's very similar.
Yes. And so we are in Game 3. We have a developed board state already. We have a Oblivion Ring that has taken out a Voice of Resurgence. We also have Restoration Angels on both sides of the board, and Alan... Oh, this is Game 2, I apologize. Christopher's won Game 1. And Alan has a Beast token in play from a Garruk Primal Hunter. Christopher is going to use this opportunity to cast Supreme Verdict. And he will pass.
We see empty board here, all kinds of Oblivion Rings and ground seals.
Multiple Oblivion Rings, multiple enchantments. Parasolini would be very good for Christopher Yarborough here if he had one.
And the Garruk Primal Hunter adds a beast to play and goes up to 2. And we see a...
Moorland Haunt activation.
Boom.
Haven't seen that for a little while.
One little spirit from the one Moorland Haunt in Christopher Yarbraugh's deck.
He doesn't have a ton of creatures in his deck. He has, it looks like 10 total. Obviously, Advent of the Worm cannot be removed to the Moorland Haunt. There's the Moorland Haunt, very popular Delver land from back in the day. Combos very well with Rune Chanter's Pike. We see one of those main deck in Christopher Yarborough's deck. He also has a second in the sideboard. I would not doubt that he brought in the second for a grindy matchup exactly like this one.
And Alan Wood makes another beast.
Yeah, that Garruk Primal Hunter is going to start going nuts here.
See, a Snapcaster can't target anything, but he can just make himself block.
Yep, and that will also make another Spirit token at end of turn to finally be able to take out the Garruk Primal Hunter.
The ghost of Tiago Chan.
Being able to deal damage here. The problem, of course, being that Alan still has 2 Beast tokens in play.
And here they come, trying to kill Garruk.
Oh.
No! From the clouds, an angel jumps.
Yes. So Angel will stand in front of one of the Spirit tokens. Garruk will remain alive.
And right now, Christopher Yarbrough really needs to do something miraculous, I think, to pull this game out.
Now, fortunately, he has Clone and Advent of the Worm in his hand, so it's not too shabby as of yet. So we're going to ambush, most likely here, Alan's Beast token.
Okay, and Tremors. Here comes a big worm.
Yep, surprise Tremors out of nowhere.
Boom.
Very powerful magic card. Putting in a 5/5.
That is...
green, not green and white. No Renounce the Guilds for you, sir. Token onto the battlefield.
And the beast is gobbled up.
Yep, but Christopher's still going to take 6. He's going to go to 1.
Ouch, and
Still
a Huntmaster.
Yeah, Huntmaster of the Fells, also a problem.
Christopher now, yes, he's playing a flash deck, but he's in the position where he suddenly has to cast a spell every turn, or else that Huntmaster is going to do some major damage.
Yeah, not exactly where he wants to be. He does have the clone still, and he just drew...
Did Alan neglect to make a beast at the end of his turn? Or?
I think he did forget to make a beast.
Oh, that's too bad. For Alan.
For Alan, yes.
Christopher...
I believe that Christopher drew Garruk Relentless for the turn, which is going to be able to fight this Huntmaster.
Well, there is a Garruk in play, so first that Garruk has to die.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
But
this worm is able to trample over it, and so is the Spirit.
The Spirit can get on over there. And now, Christopher, though, he's still in this very tenuous position where he's facing down 4 creatures and is at 1 life.
Yeah, it's certainly not good news for Christopher, particularly because all of his tokens are token-based.
Yep.
And so pretty much everything in Alan's deck, be it a Bonfire of the Damned, which could take out everything.
I think we're going to see, after the Garruk gets attacked, if it manages to get through, we're going to see a clone on Huntmaster to gain 2 life, get 2 creatures in play, and then he still has the Garruk that he can do after the fact. He's thinking about different ways to do it.
Pretty likely, although this Restoration Angel is still a problem.
This is true. the resto still kills him if he goes that direction. So
Yeah,
he can't
which is-
clone the Huntmaster.
I think that I would have probably attacked with the worm, which still would have gotten the 1 damage through. Left the spirit back. Does that solve the problem?
I mean, it means that you have a chump block for the Angel.
Right.
He can... Here goes the Huntmaster.
So Huntmaster
Or,
is...
sorry, the Garrick.
Yeah, the Garrick is going to fight the... Well, yeah, probably going to have to fight the Huntmaster at this point. And then the clone will have to copy the Restoration Angel.
And is that sufficient?
I don't think
No,
so.
he still dies then.
I think that what he needed to do was
Attack with that worm.
attack with the worm instead of the spirit.
Because then he would at least have a chump
Yeah.
for the Angel. And then if he survives that turn, he'll be able to make another spirit in the future.
Yeah, the problem was that, I mean, Christopher was just at so low life total. Alan's at so high a life total. He's going to need Alan to brick on the next 4 draw steps to have a chance. And even then, I think he's still just dead on board. Christopher flopping back and forth on what he wants to do with that Garrick, as a matter of fact. I think he's going to clone first, yeah. But again, he has to clone... Yeah, there's no way out.
There's no way out now. You're right. Like, that worm attack would have guaranteed the death of the other Garrick, and then he'd have a chump blocker back. And now he's going to make a wolf, I believe.
Yep, I think this is a wolf token.
I mean, and now actually, Alan has a ton of plays he can use to win. He can just...
Alan can just pass the
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah. He can just pass the turn and kill him, or he can attack with everybody and kill him. I mean... Right now, Christopher has F6'd.
Yeah.
He's at 1 life, and there are 1 more attacker than there is blocker.
Yeah, there's... I don't understand why we're still playing Magic.
And Christopher also is
there we
empty
go.
hand. There we go. On to game 3. We haven't talked about the sideboard. Sideboard-wise, we saw Christopher Yarbrough. He played Supreme Verdict. The Supreme Verdict is a card that he has in his board, so that was boarded in. Clone is also a board card. Those are not main deck cards for him. Garrick Relentless, also a board card. All of these coming in from the sideboard. We haven't seen enough of his play to know what he sideboarded out.
Sure. And on Alan's side of the board, we saw Ground Seal in
Yep.
the sideboard coming in, presumably to shut down the Snapcaster Mage, making extra 5/5s. Those are very, very good against the big Naya deck, of course. He also brought in Oblivion Rings, bringing in the enchantment package out of his sideboard, and that is the extent of what we saw out of his deck.
Yeah.
What I would anticipate is that he brought in addition to Oblivion Rings and the Ground Seals, what I would anticipate is that he also brought in Trostani, because as you saw, this matchup tends to go long, and being able to out-token your opponent is where you want to be, and he's got populate every turn. So I would certainly expect Trostani to be where he would want to be. Taking out, I would have taken out Aurelia the War Leader, although I don't personally like that card very much to begin with. I find that card to be bump in the night about half of the time. So 6 mana for 6 damage. So I'm not the right one to be talking to about Aurelia the War Leader.
I'll tell you, I literally bought, and I mean literally, 2 Aurelias this morning from the dealers, and I'm thinking about buying 2 more. So
right.
I'm on the other side of the bandwagon when it comes to the Aurelias.
I am willing to be convinced, especially in a deck that has 4 Thundermaw Hellkites, to be able to really take advantage.
It's pretty saucy when you go turn 3 or 4 Thundermaw Hellkite, which this deck can do, followed by turn 4 or 5 Aurelia. Now, obviously, that's a pretty awesome draw, though.
I would much rather have the Aurelias in a deck with Advent of the Worm. Just personally. Just like, all right, you've wrathed me. Now take 16.
I have done this play.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Yeah, actually, it's nuts.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely insane. Yeah, I think that's where I would want to be, but neither of these decks can reason. Well, I guess the Naya deck, I suppose, could support the Advent of the Worm instead of something. I don't know. He would have to switch his mana up a lot. I think that he's sticking with the red base in order to have access to both Boros Reckoner and Thundermaw Hellkite.
I mean, I don't know that he'd have to switch it up too much. He does have 4 Farseeks. He's got 12 Shocklands and 6 other green sources.
Yeah, I mean, in this format, like, you don't really have to change anything.
I mean, his mana is quite good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's also got 4 Avacyn's Pilgrim in addition to the 4 Farseeks. His mana's fine.
Yeah.
And so
I don't know.
I think that I would. That's a play that's just too sweet for me.
It's pretty sick.
Adrian's pulling out his deck to show me the deck that does this that he has in his
No,
hands.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
No, you're not?
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't do exactly what we were just talking about?
Not exactly.
Okay, I
mean-
see what's happened here. So we've shoved the 2 decks on camera together and put them in Adrian's deck box. Other cards to keep into consideration just in case they bring them in, or if you folks at home know more about the matchup, perhaps you know that they've brought these cards in instead. There are 2 Assemble the Legions in Alan's sideboard. Those are enormous in more control matchups. I would not anticipate them here.
Assemble is just one of those cards where when it drops, if you don't have something like an Oblivion Ring, a Renounce the Guild right then and there, or some other immediate removal for that Assembled Legion, it does not take very long for it just to destroy you.
Absolutely. There's a very small subset of cards. Unfortunately for Alan, that subset of cards could very easily be in Christopher Yarborough's deck. Those are Acidic Slime and Renounce the Guilds. Of course, Is It Staticaster and Electrickery are also on that list, but aren't going to be played in a Bant Flash deck, of course. Christopher does have 2 Renounce the Guilds, and he may have brought them in because he may have seen Boros Reckoner, and he did see Huntmaster of the Fells, and may have seen Aurelia the War Leader. So these are all options for Christopher to bring in the Renounce the Guilds.
If you're just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here with Ruben Bressler. This is the 9th round of 10 here at the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Nashville, Tennessee. Christopher Yarbrough on the right with Bant Flash, Alan Wood on the left with a Naya, basically big Naya deck, playing the 3rd game here to be able to probably draw in to our top 8, should they be lucky enough to have an opponent who agrees.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, I don't remember the record for these 2 players going into this round, but they're near the top tables. I put them on camera for a reason. I think that they were table 4, so I think that they are X1s, but don't quote me on that. If you would like to know the exact records of these players and anyone else in the tournament, go to at SCG Live on Twitter, and you will see the pairings for this round, or you can just go to the event page at StarCityGames.com. You'll see a picture of the event hall right at the top of the page, and a little bit further down you'll see the round pairings, standings, and results.
And in this game 3, Christopher Yarbrough is going to be able to start us off.
Looks like Alan's going to be on the mulligan to 6. And that 6 isn't good either.
Yikes.
It's rough news for Mr. Wood there. It looks like Christopher Yarbrough was also on the mulligan, so he's down to 6 as well.
Now, looking at these decks on paper, Bant Flash has some incredibly powerful cards to be able to fight this matchup. I mean, we saw the power of that Advent of the Worm almost turning the game around. You know, the Moorland Haunt, Restoration Angel is in his deck. There's lots of tricky things that he can do, but that one moment where he chose to attack with the Spirit rather than the Worm, it just didn't end up working.
That's a tough one to spot. I'm not even sure he could have survived had he done that. And
it would have opened up one path for him.
It would have opened up one path, as opposed to the none he ended up
having. And turn 1, Thought Scour.
Milling Alan, taking out a Ground Seal and a Restoration Angel. Those aren't bad ones.
Now, Christopher lays a Temple Guard and says, go.
Here we're going to see a Farseek from Alan Wood, trying to get back into the game with a little bit of mana acceleration, perhaps not card advantage, on the Maul down to 5. Christopher did indeed bring in Renounce the Guilds. He has a copy in his hand. He's going to leave up 2 mana, being able to cast it should he so choose.
Now, Renounce the Guild can actually hit a metric ton of cards from Alan Wood's deck. And it's Boros Reckoner, it can hit Huntmaster of the Fells, at least, Loxodon Smiter, Aurelia. It can hit, if Assemble was brought in, it can hit that. There's a lot of cards.
I think I see Assemble in Alan's hand. So that is definitely going to be a target. Alan's going to end of turn a Restoration Angel after Christopher plays land and passes. Alan, let's see how aggressive Alan wants to play this, if he wants to just run out the Assemble the Legion here. Although I don't think he has a 5th land, so never mind.
We see a Pilgrim.
A Pilgrim.
And end of turn Worm. 5/5 ain't no joke.
Yep, get the party started here.
Boom, take 5.
In comes the 5/5. It looks like Celestia Charm's going to take out the Worm.
And goodbye, Worm.
RFG'd it is.
5th land available from Christopher. Lays a Temple Garden. Says go.
Interesting that Christopher decided to use, and I say interesting in that it actually is interesting. I don't say that it's bad, I don't say that it's good. I'm saying that it's actually interesting. Perhaps he needed to find a new land, because he does have this Azorius Charm. That he didn't try to use that as actual elimination for a later creature.
And
it's possible he didn't have the Azorius Charm at the beginning of the game when he used the Thought Scourer. So
Alan Wood takes 2 pain from a land. Cast Assemble the Legion. It's a good card, but Renounce.
That's going to be a problem.
Goodbye. Renounce the Guilds. All players sacrifice a gold permanent.
Christopher has a lot of lands.
Yeah, that is land.
Yeah, it is. So that's unfortunate for Christopher. Alan's going to come in for 3 here. Leaving up the Avacyn's Pilgrim just in case.
Another land right off the top.
That's right. This game we have, looks like 10 lands and 4 spells for Christopher Yarborough.
Is that a pair of Oblivion Rings in Alan Wood's hand?
It is. So Christopher's looking for Supreme Verdict here, or
Moorland Haunt.
That's not going to do anything.
He
doesn't have any creatures.
Boo.
Christopher's going to go to 2 now. Alan could have killed Christopher had he attacked with Avacyn's Pilgrim twice.
And
Christopher now has a Restoration Angel in his hand, so he can surprise block.
From the clouds.
And with Alan's land, O-Ring, that's just a expensive fog. Although it does get an O-Ring out of his hand.
Okay.
See how Christopher did here.
Was that an
I can't tell.
Azorius Charm?
Might be.
Or is that land? I can't tell what it is. He's
Alan drew another Assemble the Legion.
Oh, is that a Simic? Oh no, it's an Azorius Charm. Okay. On top.
Yep. But here's an Assemble the Legion, and that's going to start getting out of hand quickly. Drawing both Assemble the Legions in the matchup where your opponent is mana flooded.
Is that a Rewind?
Yeah, Rewind is not very good.
There we go. Christopher Yarborough taken down by Alan Wood. The big Naya deck, overwhelming Bant Flash. Bant Flash flooding out really hard there.
Yeah, that was pretty unfortunate. That deck doesn't even run that many lands. It only has about, well, let's count. Looks like 10, 18,